with the As If Training Pod. We are on week 4, day 5. This is your recorded version. So I am going to demonstrate 5 repetitions of each movement through the warm-up. Then I'll let you know that this is a good time to pause the video. You can go ahead and go through those. And then when you're ready for part A, you can go ahead and continue playing the video. And again, I'll go through all of the movements, 5 reps of each so that you get a nice chance to see them. I'll tell you again to pause so that you can do part A, and then we'll do the same for part B. It'll be 3 rounds total of 5 right-sided half Turkish get-ups, followed by 5 left into a 45-second forearm plank. I won't demonstrate 5 reps of the forearm plank, but you'll get the idea. So starting on the right-hand side, I've got my weight in my right hand up toward the ceiling, left hand is down, left leg is down, right knee is bent. So we're only going up to the position where hips are lifted if you want to go that far. Otherwise, you can stop at any other point. So we're first going to press that weight straight up to the ceiling as we come up onto our forearm. And I think it can be helpful to stay looking at the weight. And then from here, press up to your hand. This is a great place to stop. Otherwise, lift your hips up, return down, forearm, and to the floor. The weight stays up. And then we go again back up onto the forearm, hand, hips lift, back down, forearm, and back. Again, up onto the forearm, press up, hips lift, back down, forearm, and down. Press up to the hand, hips lift, back down, forearm, in floor, last one. Press up to forearm, hand, hips lift, and down, forearm, return. And then we're gonna switch, just angle myself. Weight is in the left hand, left knee is bent, right leg is out straight, right hand is out to the side. Again, we're pressing that weight up toward the ceiling, and you can have your gaze focus on the weight to try and encourage that travel, that path of the weight a little more. So pressing up onto your forearm, then hand, stay here if that's enough, or hips lift, back down, forearm, and back. Again, press up to forearm, hand, hips lift, down, forearm, and back. One more. Press up to forearm, hand, hips lift, back down, forearm, back. And again, up to forearm, onto your hand, hips lift, back down, forearm, and floor. Last one. Press up to forearm, hand, hips lift, back down, forearm, and floor. Beautiful. Followed by 45-second forearm planks. You'll want to set a timer for 45 seconds or just keep your eye on a clock that's moving or your stopwatch on your phone. Either of those is a great option. So forearms are down, and then we've got our legs back. Think of tucking that tailbone under so we're not sticking our butt up toward the ceiling. Keeping that tailbone tucked. You can lower your hips toward the floor, but I don't want you sagging. I want those hips to stay stacked, or think of, your rib cage right over your pelvis. I don't want your pelvis dropping down. And hold here for the full 45 seconds. Think of pushing the floor away from you. And then you'll go through those 3 movements 2 more times. And now is a great time to hit pause and go ahead and complete those 3 rounds of 5 half Turkish get-ups on the right, 5 half Turkish get-ups on the left, 45-second forearm plank. Part A, 3 rounds. We have 15 dumbbell cyclist squats, followed by a 30-second cyclist squat hold. For the hold, you can ditch the weight. You can just push it off to the floor. If you want to hold the weight during the hold, you can for added difficulty. And then we'll finish with 15 and 15 bicycle crunches. So if your abs weren't sore from Wednesday, they might be today. So let's get going with that. Starting with 15 dumbbell cyclist squats. So you're doing those with your heels on an elevated surface. feet are on the ground. I'm using a half foam roll. You could use a pair of weights, rolled up towel, or a thick textbook. If you choose to use a weight for these, great. You don't have to. Keep the weight close to you in this front position we call a goblet hold. And then from here, you're just gonna think of dropping your hips straight down. Try to keep that chest lifted and avoid pitching forward. So we're gonna come down and return up. Aiming to get as low as we can. If you can cover hamstring with your calf, great. Many of you won't get here, so don't worry about that. If you just get to here, wonderful. I encourage you to try just an inch further. Just see how that goes. Just a little further, because what's the worst that could happen? You fall into your butt. How far is that going to be? Just a few inches. You'll be just fine. Good. And then again, once we've done those 15, we'll come into a hold, not all the way down, we'll say about halfway. Again, you can keep it with the weight. If you want to ditch it because your legs are burning, stay here for a full 30 seconds. Again, you'll want a clock in front of you, and then you'll take a break. Followed by bicycle crunches. So, tabletop with the legs. We've got them bent at 90-90, hands behind your head. Head will be lifted and chest as well for added difficulty. Otherwise, you can start from the floor, and we're going to bring elbow to opposite knee as we extend one leg and then return back down. Left elbow to right knee, return back. Alternating 15 per leg. And again, for added difficulty, you can stay lifted in a crunch while you do those repetitions. So 3 rounds, 15 dumbbell cyclist squats, 30-second cyclist squat hold. Ditch the weight if you had it. You're only holding at about half the depth. And then finally, 15 and 15 bicycle crunches. This is a great place to pause and go ahead and get that part A underway. Part B, we're finishing up with 2 rounds of 15 and 15 elephant walks, followed by a 60-second outer glute stretch on the right and then the left. So, elephant walk can start with using a supported surface. The lower you are to the floor, the more intense this becomes. Now, I want you to start in a position where your head is hanging and you have a nice generous bend in your knees. So whether your forearms are resting like this on a table, or if you do feel comfortable and you have plenty of room to get here with your hands to the floor or fingertips to the floor, that's great. Just make sure our head is hanging and we have a nice generous bend in both knees. Now, once you're in that position, I want you to be able to press one leg all the way to straight. When you do this, ideally you'll get a nice big stretch up through the back of the leg, maybe up into your back. But if you, from the position you're in, cannot press a leg all the way to straight because it's too tight, then we're too low, and I want you to bring yourself up. So if you say start from the floor and you go to press that leg to straight and you can't quite get it, and then you try the other one, that's where I want you to find something elevated. And you'll find you'll still get this nice stretch when you push your leg back. 15 of those on each side, followed by an outer glute stretch. I'll actually demo here. The closer you are to either a couch or a wall, a door, the more intense this will be. So get your butt close, and then laying on your back, you've got right foot on the wall, and then left knee is going to cross over the top of that right thigh. And then I'm just going to let my butt drop down toward the floor. So I feel a nice stretch in my outer hip. I'm going to demo on the wall here. So again, you want to get close to the wall. Sorry, Mom. Feet on the wall. Cross your, what do you do? Left ankle on top of right thigh. So I lifted my hips up to get there, but now I'm going to lower them to the floor. So I feel that stretch on this outside left hip, and I'm going to stay here for a full minute. Once we're here for a full minute, then you can unwind And then we'll switch sides. Right ankle crosses over left thigh. And then let those hips sink to the floor. Allow that knee to come toward you. I often see people wanting to press it away. It's not wrong. You're just targeting a slightly different tissue, and we really just want to allow that knee to come toward the floor for our purposes. And then you'll be here for a minute. Go back to the elephant walks, and then finish up with another set of the outer glute stretch. Go get them.